Now, some of you may know what this is. If you do, just kind of keep it to yourself real fast, because a lot of people, you don't know, and you're not sure if it's a good thing or some kind of drug paraphernalia. I mean, it's not. I hope I get this right. Oops. What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Grass, or also it has instructions on here. Not just grass. You can plant. You can plant Timothy. Don't know if you'd like that. Or clover or alfalfa. All kinds of things. And I'm not sure, do they still use things like this? Maybe not. Somebody's saying, yeah. I don't think you could go with a row, but I don't know if you're real skilled, maybe you could. But that's a seed planter, or what we call maybe something to sow with. It's a sowing, Sowing machine. Because this morning we're talking about, or I might be talking about the sowing and the reaping boundary. There's something to that. You can't put in, let's say, seeds of beans and expect to have an ear of corn. It doesn't work like that. I mean, even people that aren't very smart, they understand that the seed that you plant can only produce a certain thing. You can plant whatever you want, and you can pray that it become whatever but it doesn't matter at that point. Whatever you planted, it can only be one thing. And so that's really this sowing and reaping boundary that I'm going to talk about this morning. And so here's the verse out of Galatians 6. It says, Don't be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a person sows, or whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. It's the only thing he can reap. So you can't reap what you don't sow. So part of it is, be careful what you sow. Be careful what you plant. And in our lives, we're always planting something. Sometimes we don't think of it that way, but the question is, what are you planting? Or another way to look at it is, what am I planting in someone? Because our lives have impact on others. What kind of impact? And you could think of even little folks. What am I planting into the lives of young people? Because we're doing something, and I call it it is a boundary. You can't sow, let's say, or plant disobedience to God and expect God to bless you. It doesn't work that way. And so the harvest of our lives is a result of what you planted earlier in your life. Because another thing is, you can't plant this morning and harvest this afternoon. You get that. There are these seasons. Maybe you plant in the spring. It's not ready to go for a number of months, and we see it, and hopefully the weather cooperates and the soil is good. But if things go right, it'll get what we wanted. But you cannot harvest what you do not plant or what you do not sow. It's impossible. And so, since we will all reap a harvest for what we sow, I go, be careful of what you're planting or what you're sowing. And I want to just say this, and a lot of the young people aren't here. They're up at Cedar Point doing whatever up there. But I want to say, learn this young, because it's hard to break the back on immorality. Once you get the habits of immorality, or the thinking behind immorality, or it's okay to cut corners certain places, and the longer you do that, the deeper it's embedded in you, it's tough to turn that corner and go the other way. So much better not to live an ungodly life at whatever age. And so that's why we want to plant the appropriate seeds in the lives of young folks. And this starts out, it goes, don't be deceived. Don't be tricked. Don't trick yourself or allow anyone else to tell you that you can live one way and expect to reap something else. You can't go over this boundary. You can't go through it. This one doesn't change. It's real, and you're not a special exception. The part of the deception is, you know what? I think I can sow whatever, and I can reap something different. That's part of the deception. I'm smart enough, strong enough, I stick to it, and I work hard, and therefore, that doesn't really apply to me. Don't be deceived. It's true for everyone. It's always been that way. Then it says, God's not mocked, or God's not made fun of. God will see this principle, God will see this boundary through. God will have the final say on the sowing and reaping stuff. And if you reap something you don't like, it's because you planted something that results in that. God, or no one's getting away with anything. God will see to that. Now here what I want to call is the sowing and reaping reality. That was the boundary or the principle, the sowing and reaping principle. Here's the reality. The reality is this next verse. It says, for the one who sows to his own flesh, that is, to his sinful nature, shall from the flesh reap corruption. That's the way it has to be. But the one who sows to the Spirit shall from the Spirit reap eternal life. That's the way it works. You can only plant one of two seeds. One is to the flesh, your sinful nature. You can plant sin, or you can plant righteousness. You can plant godliness. Those are the only choices we have. And you have a continuous choice, that of sin or that of God. But once planted, you don't have the choice of what it produces. You choose what you sow or plant. You can't choose what you reap or produce. Once it's there, it can't be changed. Unless somehow it's dug up. But that's not hard, or that's not easy to do. So we don't have the choice of what a seed produces. We do have a choice of what we plant. If you plant the seed of sin, you will harvest what? What do you think? Even greater sin. You plant the seed of God or righteousness, you will harvest more of righteousness. So part of it, what kind of person do you want to be? It depends on what are you planting. What are you putting into your heart and soul and into your mind? What is it? And we're always continually planting something. Don't be surprised in life, often, if life turns out a certain way, if that's what you've planted. It has to be that way. If you don't study and you skip class, what do you think will happen? What do you think? And we know, if you yell at your kids and they conclude that whatever they do is never good enough for you, what do you think will happen? There's a number of young folks, they're convinced that they can never ever please mom and dad. Whatever they do, you've got to correct it. And that you know better. And part of what you're planting is just frustration. Or sometimes you're planting the seeds of rebellion in them. Because rules without relationship always ends up in rebellion. In some way. And rebellion comes in two ways. Either they shut down, because why bother, why try? It's never good enough, you never like it. You always have a thought of how I can improve it. It's never a good job. You're doing well. Excellent. I'm proud of you. It's always the other thing. And so either they shut down, or what? they act out. And they take a walk on the rebellious side. And for some folks, it's like they never come back from the rebellious side. They get out there and it's just, basically they're saying, to heck with mom and dad and authority, into the government and God, and just y'all can take a flying leap. And that's putting it about as polite as I can. Because if you don't like what I am or who I am or what I do, that's not good enough. Well, forget the whole lot of you. And that's why, I can't say everyone, but that's why so many people, and especially young people at incredibly young ages, they're way out here already. And you're wondering how they got there. It's not just this, but it could be. It could be you've come down and you so hard. And sometimes we just want the best, but it comes out of an unrighteousness. And so you're planning certain things and try to recover that. It's tough to recover that. If you never learn to put money away, or you never learn to invest, you've never learned how to conquer money, and money conquers you. Where do you think that's going to land you later in life? Why is it that some folks seem like they never, ever have enough money? And I hear you, it could be a number of things, but for many, they just never learned how to handle it. Or they want immediate gratification. Or to them, money in the pocket means that money is spent. There's lots of things. Here again, if you never attend church, you never read your Bible, you never join a small group, you never do, what do you think is going to happen in your life? I say you're going to be spiritually shipwrecked. Don't wonder why. I go, if you do the opposite of these things, what do you think is going to happen? You'll reap a different crop, different results. I go, yeah, you control what you plant, but not what you harvest. And so some folks, they don't like what they harvest, and it goes back to, well, then what did you plant? Because whatever you sow is what you will reap. That is the principle. That's the boundary. Here's a promise. So the sowing and reaping promise, there is one, and God tells us what it is. He goes, here you go. And let us not lose heart in doing good. For here's the promise. For in due time, in God's time, at the right time, we shall reap if we what? Don't grow weary. You mean there's a tendency to lose heart in life? There's a tendency to grow weary in life? Absolutely. Why? What would cause someone to lose heart? To cause you to grow weary? Well, I'm just old, just getting old. That causes it. And I know the physical aspect of being tired. It's easy for most folks to be tired quicker, easier, because our bodies change as you get older. We understand that, but we're not so much talking about physical weariness. We're talking this losing heart. We're not talking physically lose heart. We're talking spiritually or emotionally losing heart. And I tell you what happens to why somebody loses heart, or they lose their motivation. They lose their drive. They lose their enthusiasm for life. And that can happen young. You don't have to be old to kind of give up and shut down. But for some, it takes a while. But whatever age it is, it's easy to lose heart at some point. It's easy to grow weary, although maybe you're young. When does that happen? If it seems like what I'm doing isn't doing any good. Or it seems like what I'm doing is never good enough. When it seems like it's a wasted effort, a waste of time, going in circles, not making a difference, not being appreciated. See, this can happen in relationship, can it? It can. That the other person that you're with in time, they don't appreciate you. Or they don't appreciate you anymore. They don't thank you. You get the feeling that they're just putting up with you, but they're not enjoying the company. And that's why he or she is always out somewhere else doing something else, or they're in another part of the house doing something else. Because to be with you is somewhat of a drain. So I think in order to, let's say, keep this marriage together, we need to stay apart quite a lot. That's where some go. That's the only thing I can do. You'll begin to lose heart. You'll begin to grow weary in relationship. You start getting tired of the other person. It's easy. So, if you lose heart, you grow tired, you grow weary, maybe I'll just stay home. Maybe I'll close the curtains, keep to myself, go to my room, close the door, turn on the TV, turn on social media, talk to my friends. I'll get sidetracked with the other things about life because the most important stuff doesn't seem to be making any progress. I think I'm just going to Facebook tonight, or any evidence of losing heart, growing weary, burning out. Because this is what we know. Life has a way of wearing us out. It just does. And not so much physically, but internally. There used to be a fire there. Now it's hardly a flicker. Something happened. People can have a way of making us tired. And I believe this to be true. Most people, as they age, have less, not more energy. Where the best part of the day is night. Where you wind down earlier and earlier and earlier. Where your bedtime used to be like midnight, then it got to be 11, and now it's basically when the news comes on. You're just ready. Let me just catch the 6 o'clock news, and man, I am out, it takes me 3 hours to get ready for bed. I have my stuff going on. So you have this process of how I get ready for bed. You just don't jump in bed anymore. It takes all this time. Or once I get home, I'm not coming back out. Right? I ain't doing that. Once I come home and once I get my shoes off and get my jammies on, guess what? I am home for the rest of the night. If the house catches on fire, I'm not going anywhere, right? I am right here. Try to get me out. You just try. Ain't happening. And so you're just slowly getting to where you can finally crawl into bed, pull up the covers, and as you do so, you go, right? It just feels good. But, I go, there is this tendency to become tired on the inside. That's what we're talking about here. Are you tired on the inside? Less internal energy. You've become more skeptical about life and people. People have let you down. You may have said, I do, but they didn't. And maybe it happened more than just once. And so you're so careful, you're so cautious, you don't even want to come out and play anymore. Because the other people don't play fair. or they want to take their ball and go home. We've learned that things don't always work out well. We have taken the hits, and the accumulation of hits over the years has taken a toll on our heart. So we tend to play it safe and go, if we play at all. All of our good works are not all that good or as frequent as they used to be. We ask ourselves, why bother? Why bother? That's why verse 9 tells us, don't you lose heart in doing good. Don't you lose heart in doing good. Don't let life wear you out. You got to fight that. Because you'll come up with all the reasons is why I don't play. Or I don't play as hard, I don't play as long. It all makes really good sense to you. And I don't want to get burned again. I don't want to get betrayed again. Stay the course. Because in due time, or when the time is right, according to God's timetable, you shall reap what you've sown. Don't grow weary. So here's the conclusion. The sowing and reaping conclusion is this. Don't you lose heart. Okay? That's huge. Don't you lose heart. Don't you grow weary. Some of you have already, and you know it. You've waved the white flag of surrender already. I am done with this. You haven't taken your own life, but there's a place where you've concluded life really isn't worth living. And this life is a dirty joke, but no one's really laughing. Some of you have already lost heart, or you are beginning to lose heart. And you just sense it. You know it's true. Hey, vacations are a great thing. I want to say, but if what is driving you the next couple of months is looking forward to the bigger and better vacation at the end of it, can I just say that maybe something's going on here that's not very healthy? Hey, do your vacation. I mean, go and please hear me right here. I'm not saying don't do that, but don't let that be the thing you look forward to, let's say, most in life. Here's the sowing and reaping conclusion. That's this. So then, while we have opportunity, while we're still alive, while you're still on earth, let us do good to all men, all people. And especially to those who are of the household of faith, especially to those who are Christ followers, especially to those in the church. While you're alive, you keep on with the good works and the good deeds. That's what we were created to do. But you're not going to do them if you lose heart and grow weary. So don't lose heart and grow weary so you can keep on doing good to all people. How about to strangers? Much as you can. Continue to do good, whatever good might look like. Help as many people as you can, whatever help looks like. You be as encouraging to as many people as you can, and especially to those that are in the church. Oh, what? You might ask, why that? Why the household of faith? Why the family of God? Why that? I thought we were supposed to reach a lost and hurting world. We are. I thought that we were too insular already. We are. Then why prioritize other Christians with our goodness? And here's why. Because if we don't, there's a huge likelihood that we are going to grow weary and lose heart. That's why. Can we help each other not grow weary? Help one another not lose heart? Help one another not shut down, to be skeptical about all people, especially those in the family of God. There's already an external world skeptical about us. You hear the stuff. Why don't you want to come to church? I just don't want to be around a bunch of hypocrites. You've probably heard that stuff. How many people have you invited to church that never come? Or they came once or twice. They ain't coming back. So easy to think, I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop asking and inviting. They're not coming anyway. You know, if you sow the evangelistic, I'm not going to put it back on. And even now I think I'm going to hurt myself. If you sow enough evangelistic seed, if you talk to enough people about Jesus Christ, if you plant enough of that, you plant enough of the gospel, you're going to have some folks that are going to say, "Tell me more," and they're going to live their life. They're going to give their lives to Christ, and they're going to live. They're going to live for Him. That's what's going to happen. So don't think that no one will listen if you talk about God. Don't listen to that nonsense. It's not true. Now some won't. No, I agree. Some won't. And some will say keep it to yourself and that. But you keep on living. You keep on living godliness, and you open up your mouth about the things about you. Sow the seed of the gospel, and see what happens. Just because two or 10 don't take doesn't mean that it's time to give up. God still has planted in the hearts of people a certain emptiness that can only be filled by Him. And there is no heart that's full or fulfilled apart from Jesus Christ. He completed, or He made our hearts. He constructed our hearts just like that. Don't be giving up. Don't be shutting down. And the other thing, the longer you go without having a spiritual conversation with an unbeliever, the harder it is to open up your mouth. So you sow those seeds. You live that life. Don't you wear out. Don't you shut down. You see, a lot of folks, their heart has been damaged. I put it this way. I go, they may be in the stadium, but they're not in the playing field. They may have paid the cost of admission. They may be in the stands, but they're just watching the game. And Christianity is not a spectator sport. It's not. So do good, always do good to everyone. Being other-centered. And, let it happen here and to those that are in the family of God first. One of the greatest attractions to Christianity to an unsaved world is a community of believers who love and enjoy each other. And can we just do our best to watch out for one another, to make sure so-and-so is not losing heart, that they're not giving up, that their faith is not being shipwrecked? There's still enthusiasm about God and the things of God, because there should be. Needs to be. Let it happen here. A number of years ago, someone came up with what is known as this, the paradoxical commandments, and there's 10 of them. Now, I know some of you are writing stuff down. There's a lot to write here. I'm not saying don't write it down, but there's a lot to write here. And if you can't get it all, see me afterwards, and I'll make sure you get these if you want these. This is a way, basically, to stem and to make sure that you don't wear out, you don't shut down, you don't grow weary. paradoxical commandments. Here we go. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Would you agree with that? Yep, I would. Love them anyway. What? Yeah, love them anyway. Basically, people are rascals, and to some degree we are too. Love me anyway. Love anyway. Number 2. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Won't they? Yeah. You know what? Can I put it this way? Who cares? Do good anyway. Yeah. Number 3. If you're successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. Don't let that stop you. Number 4. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. It won't be forgotten, but oftentimes it's not appreciated. It's all right. They didn't even tell me thanks. It's okay. They don't have to. I'm going to do good anyway. I don't know if I told you guys this, I may have, that growing up, Mom and Dad, around Christmas time, they'd send out some Christmas cards. And they kept a list. And I'd go, and what's that list? Oh, these are the people that we sent cards to last year that didn't send us one. Okay? You know, they're not around it really anymore. Dad's over at Heritage. He doesn't even know who I am. So it's not he's going to get mad. And I thought, really? Yeah, if you didn't send them one last year, you weren't going to get one from them this year. And I'm thinking, that's the Christmas spirit right there. I've just concluded never to send any out that way. You can't be hurt. But do good anyway. Even if they don't send you a Christmas card, just send one out anyway. Here's number 5. Honesty and frankness will make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank. That word frank, I shouldn't even be. Who's frank? But just be honest. Be honest anyway. Just be honest. There's a vulnerability to it. People would take shot. If I'm vulnerable, now people have ammunition on me, and they can use it against me. And it's not that you want to give a hand out ammunition, but just be honest anyway. Number 6 is this. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest ideas. Think big anyway. You know, can I just tell you, if you have a dream, it may seem crazy to other people. Every single nitpicker without a dream of their own will want to shut your dream down. You know that. Everyone without a dream of their own don't like it when other people have dreams. And they'll tell you why you shouldn't, why it doesn't make sense, why it's going to fail. Can I just tell you this? Maybe, but dream anyway. Go forth anyway. Yeah, you might fall flat on your face. So what? I would much rather try to do something and fall on my face than not try to do something. Because to me, that's failure. Not falling on your face, not even starting. Number 7 is what you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. You may have seen that in a business or some other venture that you had. man, you spent years and years, and it maybe had nothing to do with you. Maybe it was the economy or how the culture turned or some decision made in politics somewhere, and it was just destroyed. Or maybe you had an unfaithful business partner who was skimming stuff and doing things behind your back or whatever it could have been, and man, it just went down. And do you know when you were successful and you go down, a lot of other people internally are going, good. But a lot of folks don't want to see people succeed. You build anyway. Number 8, people really need help, but may attack you if you help them. Help people anyway. This is so counter, isn't it? Because these reasons we have used as to why I don't anymore. And this is saying, don't do that. Don't you grow weary. Don't you shut down. Don't you do that. That's what the world does. Here, number 9. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth. And some of you have been kicked in the teeth. And you've concluded, I'm done. Oh, I'll play along. I'm not going to give him much, if anything, and I'm sure not going to give him my best. You give the world your best you have anyway. The last one is this. Give the best you have, and it'll never be enough. Always give it your everything. Everything you have anyway. Because in the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. Would you pray with me? God, thanks this morning for the truth of your word. And God, can I just say this? We know you always give it all you have. You always do your best. Give it your all for us. And I know, we all know, we've all been socked in the gut. Some of us had received the knockout punch. But we got back up, or maybe you're a little wobbly right now. And God may, in our heart, in our soul, in our mind, determined this is not going to be the end of us. That we're going to be strengthened. We're going to be renewed. We're not going to allow ourselves to wear down on the inside. And we're going to keep getting back up because with your help, and Lord, hopefully with the help of the family of God, we're going to be sprinting toward the finish line of life. Because it never was about us and them. It's always about us and you. Lord, help us to keep on planting and reaping righteousness. We pray it now in Jesus' name. Amen.